Coming up on the show, it's not just about trucks and hoses for Atlanta Fire Rescue. It's also about people. We're going to examine one city council member's push to put more firefighters on every Atlanta rig. Also, from Alexa to airlines, one glitch froze them all yesterday. We're going to break down what really happened inside of that Amazon cloud. And 20 years ago, it was a gamble. Today, it's a must visit here in Atlanta. We're talking about the inside the growth of the Atlantic Station and how it's going to look in the next 20 years. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome. I'm Chesley McNeil, and this is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in, of course, to share their take on today's top stories, and we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. Let's start you off with the forecast because there's some changes coming our way. Yesterday we had beautiful, crystal clear skies on the outside, and now we are looking at a front moving into the area. That front will bring the possibility of a few raindrops. Certainly it's going to bring a few extra clouds in. I'm thinking between the hours of 2 and 8 o'clock, there could be a few showers around. Carry the umbrella with you just in case. Right now it's a 20% chance, 20 to 30% chance. So we're not looking at a whole lot of wet weather, and a lot of us will stay on the dry side. So we'll be looking for that. Temperature wise, the warmest day of the week today. Temperatures in the 70s. We'll hit 71 degrees by noon, on our way to 78 for the afternoon high temperature. Today will be when we'll have those showers around. But once we get to tonight, that front pushes through, so drier air will begin to work in. Now behind that front, this is going to reinforce that cool shot of air. So our temperatures will go from 78 degrees today down to near 70 for the high temperature on Wednesday. We'll keep the sunshine in place for the rest of the week, right on through Friday. Temperatures will remain in the low to mid 70s. Even those overnight lows, that's where you're going to really start to feel it. Even here in the metro area, down to 48 degrees. And you know, this morning we had some 30s in the North Georgia mountains and over toward our west, over into Carrollton. So there's going to be 30s and 40s around for the rest of the week as well for our start temperature. So you definitely need to bundle up, folks. Even as we head into weekend, more changes come. We'll have another front that's going to move through. Saturday, I think we'll be fine. Nice and dry. Partly sunny skies will be the call. Low 70s, right near 70 for Sunday. But those clouds will increase, and we'll have about a 30% chance for showers late on Sunday going into Monday, where we'll have the rain around as well. 40% chance. I think that'll happen mainly during the morning hours, and then by the afternoon that begins to clear out. But even behind that front, temperatures will cool back down, only in the 60s for highs. Keep in mind that we should be around 73 degrees this time of year, and so we'll have that really for the rest of the week after we get through today with that southerly push, those southerly winds ahead of that front. That's what's going to boost that temperature up today to about 78 degrees. And again, there will be a few clouds around. If you're looking outside right now, you're probably thinking, hey, well, where's all this stuff at? We got clear skies on the outside. It's coming, folks. It's coming by the afternoon. I'm already starting to see some of that rain over into the west, over into Mississippi. But a lot of that will fall apart before it gets in here. Heavy rain there as well, a couple thunderstorms around, but that's what we need. We really need that wet weather. It's been very dry around the forecast area, and so that's going to continue to be the case as we head right on through the rest of the afternoon. We got some time to talk about this forecast a little bit here, so I'm going to back this up a little bit and show you what we can expect really as we head through the day. Now, this is our latest satellite radar composite, but it does show some of those clouds trying to make their way over toward our forecast area. Here's the forecast track model, and you notice how light the winds are starting off this morning. We do have the sunshine in place, but then once we get toward the afternoon, that's when we're expecting those showers, or at least the clouds, to begin to fill in first. We'll wind up with mostly cloudy skies and then a chance for those showers. If we see any heavy rain at all, it'll be mainly for our northwestern counties. In fact, Storm Prediction Center has placed a general threat for an isolated thunderstorm in those areas. I'm talking Dade, Walker County, over toward Union Towns County. That's where it will be possible. That front will settle down into the area, so it will drive that rain a little further down to the south, but we're expecting that to break up. So you see a lot of those little moderate pockets. It's not going to add up to too much, folks, because it'll move pretty quickly through the area. Right on down to the south of us, by the time we get to 9 o'clock tonight, you see our northern counties are already starting to clear out. South of the city, you got mostly cloudy skies and then just a few sprinkles left over. So it's gone, it's done by 10 o'clock, and then that drier air will start to work in. Now you'll also notice by tomorrow, not only will we have the sunshine back in and we'll have those cooler conditions, but we'll also see breezy conditions as well. Those winds out of the northwest probably likely to get up to about 15 miles per hour. The gusts will be that high as well. So we'll be watching for that as we head through the day tomorrow. We're going to stay on the dry side for the rest of the week with that sunshine returning to the area. All right, yesterday, Atlanta City Council unanimously approved a resolution that requests Atlanta Fire and Rescue staff have a minimum of 4 personnel on each engine and ladder truck apparatus. This is not just a binding ordinance, but it formally urges Atlanta Fire and Rescue to align its staffing with that benchmark. So putting this forward was City Council member Michael Julian Bond, who joins us now, and I want to say good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, you've described this as a safety measure first, a safety measure. How does this Atlanta current fire rescue staff compared to other major cities, and why is this so important for us?
Well, the national goal for each apparatus is to have about 4 firefighters per apparatus responding to calls. Atlanta has currently 3, and so most of the fire departments in the metropolitan area also staff 3 per apparatus. So we want to be in line with the national standard. So we want to make sure that we are preparing our budget and our hiring to accommodate 4 firefighters per apparatus coming into our budget season in the next 8 months.
What's the difference? Tell us what the difference is between the 3 and the 4. What makes that big critical difference?
Well, you want to make sure that if you have a single apparatus responding to a call, that you have 2 and 2. You have 2 that can go in to search a building or a house for a fire, and 2 to make sure that they're going around the exterior of the fire. Now, I want to reassure Atlantans that typically on a fire call, there may be 20 to 25 firefighters responding on different apparatus trucks. So there are a good number of firefighters responding to these calls, but if we have a single engine responding, we just want to make sure that we have the optimum amount of firefighters on that unit. We are on our way to hiring enough firefighters over the next 18 months to reach our 100% staffing goal, and that will aid us in that. But short of that, we want to make sure that we are budgeting to make sure that we have enough to put 4 on each.
Councilman Bond, what made you tip this way? Why now? And what made you push for this?
Well, this has been an ongoing effort of mine to support the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department. I appreciate the job that they always do, and I don't mind telling people that the fire department during the span of my life has saved me twice. Once from a fire, and then about 10 years ago from a respiratory incident. And I always want to make sure that they have everything that they need, because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of their services.
This is, we've read that it's estimated to be about a $7 million budget item here. What do you say to the mayor's office and the budgeting committee to keep this going?
Well, we want to make sure that we can look at across the board in city government to see if we can find the funds to accommodate this. In part, that's why this is being introduced so much earlier than the normal budgeting season. Normally we get into developing our budget, around February or March, and we want people to begin to look to see where we can find these funds earlier.
Councilman Bond, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate the insight on this.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right, take care now. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're back with more good stuff right after the break. Yep, the government shutdown continues. Day 21 so far. And the Senate will be back in session today, but no movement is expected toward passing a spending bill. Yesterday, senators tried and failed for the 11th time to move forward new funding bills. Now, one of note is the federal court system is now reducing its operations to only limited operations necessary to perform judiciary constitutional functions. While action stalled in the Capitol, there's been some movement at the White House, but on the building itself. Yeah, here to explain a little bit more of that is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. And Alice, it sounds like you can put a big under construction sign at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's right, Chesley, and it's a pretty remarkable sight. If you've seen any of the images, there are crews now demolishing part of the historic East Wing facade of the White House, and it's all to clear the way for the massive ballroom addition President Trump has long touted to host more guests. He noted at an appearance yesterday that the current ballroom, he said, could hold about 88 people and that the new one will hold 999. The White House says the president and private donors will cover the estimated $250 million cost. But it is remarkable. They're sort of peeling off a whole facade of one side of what is obviously an historic building in the White House. And that is not what President Trump had initially said was going to happen. This is reversing an earlier Trump pledge not to touch the original building. In July, late July, he said, quote, "It won't interfere with the current building. It will be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building." So now to see this whole, exterior side coming down is a shock for a lot of people, and many Democratic lawmakers are really slamming the move. That's the most substantial change to the White House, certainly in, something like a century.
Yeah, right. All right, meanwhile, you're tracking a legal fight over President Trump's National Guard deployments into American cities. What's the latest in Chicago now?
Yeah, so there are quite a number of legal developments on this front, and starting with the city of Chicago, there's an effort now from Illinois to try to appeal to the Supreme Court to have them hold the line on not allowing National Guard troops into Chicago, as the Trump administration has been wanting to happen. And it comes at the same time that we know there's already been an increase in ICE patrols in Chicago that the Department of Homeland Security has dubbed Operation Midway Blitz, and DHS says more than 1,500 arrests were made just last week. But yesterday, a U.S. district judge asked for more information about the continued use of tear gas and other violent tactics against protesters and journalists that violates an earlier court order. The judge wants to know what training officers have received and wants federal agents to be using body cameras. And the administration has said all along it wants National Guard troops there to protect ICE agents in Chicago. The local leaders are saying that there's no justification.
All right, staying on the National Guard, we hear there's news about the deployment where it all started, right where you are in Washington, D.C. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so there's word now that the deployment here in D.C., which, is the first one that kicked off this effort by the Trump administration to deploy the troops to a number of American cities, that they could be here through at least next summer. A new filing from the D.C. Attorney General's office cites evidence from the Trump administration saying that the general in charge told officers to plan for a long-term presence, which could run through the nation's 250th birthday celebration next July. The current National Guard mission in D.C. is set to expire at the end of November unless it's extended. You can throw Portland, Oregon in there as well. There's an appeals court there that has now sided with the White House, allowing the deployment of the National Guard against the state's wishes. That overturns a lower court ruling. So this has become a common story in cities across the country. And in that case, in Portland, a U.S. district judge nominated by President Trump had blocked the deployment in Oregon, writing that it appeared that the president was acting in bad faith and making exaggerated claims of violence, including that Portland was war-ravaged. So certainly we know that the Trump administration has its framing that this is to protect against crime, and many cities and states are telling a very different picture. Chesley.
All right, Alice, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We got much more stories for you coming up right after the break. This is The Take. Well, it was the digital domino effect felt around the world, a massive outage at Amazon's web services that knocked out everything from Alexa to airline check-ins. For hours Monday, much of the internet stumbled, showing just how dependent businesses and consumers are on a handful of cloud providers. Reports of online service disruption surged across more than 70 countries, impacting gaming and streaming, banking, and e-commerce platforms. Experts say the outage revealed how concentrated the web's backbone has become, with most major apps using Amazon's services. The core of the problem hit Amazon's Virginia data hub. A reminder that one glitch, all it takes is one glitch, and that can send shockwaves around the globe. Let's break this down a little bit more of what happened. Andrew Green is the assistant professor of information security and assurances at Kennesaw State University. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning. Glad to be back.
All right. From your perspective, what specifically failed inside of Amazon's system, and why can that one data region bring down so many other aspects of the internet?
Right. So Amazon reported a failure of what we call the domain name system, or DNS. And that is akin to a phone book for those of us of a certain age, where you look up somebody's name and you get a telephone number. In the computer world, there's the equivalent of that, where I look up a domain name like 11alive.com, and the DNS server returns back an IP address. In the computer world, it's no different. Systems talk to each other, looking up domain names to get an IP address to the system that they need to talk with, because IP addresses change on systems all the time. And so it's really inefficient to point systems to IP addresses to talk to. It's easier to say, find the system with this domain name so that they can talk to each other all the time and not worry about IP address changes. And so it highlights the fact that we rely on DNS without even relying about it. It really is the glue that holds the internet together. And what Amazon suffered yesterday was an internal failure of their own DNS servers. And so in effect, the services that they offer to run all of the public offerings that they sell to others, that businesses build on to offer their services, they failed internally. And so their systems weren't able to talk internally. So they weren't able to provide the public-facing services that businesses build their service offerings on. And so it was a pyramid of cascading failure. It's the only way really to describe it.
Yeah. Andrew, did we learn something from this? I mean, how complex this system is, the infrastructure, and will things change as a result?
I don't know that we learned anything. I think that we had lessons reiterated. What was reiterated is that cloud, when it works, it's great. But when it fails, as we saw yesterday, it creates problems, especially in this one particular region for Amazon. The failure occurred in the U.S. East 1 region, which also happens to be the one location where Amazon hosts a series of global services that no matter what region in the world you host your applications or services in, they may need to call back to this one particular region to do certain things. And so when you have a failure in this region, it is especially critical, because if I can't, for example, authenticate a user or make a particular callback to a specific database that is only offered in this one region by Amazon, then my organization is functionally unable to make those calls, and therefore my applications are dead underwater, or I can't authenticate.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw yesterday.
How quickly can experts tell whether or not this is a cyber attack or just a system failure? Is that an easy thing to see?
It depends on the circumstances. I think Amazon was pretty certain early on, based on the reporting that I saw, that this was an internal error and not an attack from a threat actor group. There's a running joke in our industry that it's always DNS, because that's just how critical DNS is. You can make one mistake in your DNS server configuration or availability and create a cascading failure that can cause situations just like what we saw yesterday. And so it's not uncommon, well, I say that with my fingers crossed and in air quotes, for problems like this to be ultimately related to a DNS error or misconfiguration of some type, or if it's not that, it's an internal networking error of some type. And Amazon engineers, just like any other engineers, highly skilled, well-trained, well-educated, and can typically figure out pretty quickly either A, this is something that we did internally, or B, this isn't something we did internally, and then they need to dig a little deeper.
All right. Assistant Professor Andrew Green, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for your insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Folks, don't go anywhere. We got much more show for you coming up after the break. This is The Take. We'll be back right after this. A woman has just filed a $15 million lawsuit against Cobb County, saying she was nearly killed during a Cobb police officer's high-speed chase of a shoplifting suspect. 11Alive's investigator Savannah Levins was first to break this story and walks us through the suit.
Yeah, I have lots of abrasions in my face. I still have a stitch in my face. My top teeth are gone. My legs is with stores.
This is Terry Ball in the hospital in February of this year, talking to her brother about the accident that she says nearly took her life.
And I don't have a right arm. I have 2 broken hips. I have broken femur. All my right ribs are broken.
A new lawsuit just filed on behalf of Ball against Cobb County argues she was the innocent victim of an unlawful police pursuit. The document alleges Cobb police officer Kevin Mayuse attempted to pull over a vehicle driven by Patrick Dingevan, who is wanted on shoplifting charges. Records we found show Dingevan was accused of stealing 15 cases of water worth $76 the month before. According to Cobb PD's posted policy on police pursuits, an officer can only pursue a vehicle if the driver is believed to have committed a serious violent crime, like murder, armed robbery, kidnapping, or rape. The lawsuit alleges Officer Mayuse initiated a high-speed chase of Dingevan's vehicle anyway, violating that policy. Ball says she was an unsuspecting passenger in Dingevan's car, unaware of his charges and in no way involved.
And I remember saying, "Pat, please stop."
The lawsuit goes on to allege Officer Mayuse then performed a, quote, negligent, reckless, unlawful, improper, and unauthorized pit maneuver, resulting in Ball being ejected from the vehicle. She lost her arm and, in Cobb County's own words, nearly her life.
She was not moving oxygen well.
In fact, county officials sent out a press release and video shortly after the accident, boasting that first responders performed the county's first pre-hospital blood transfusion to save Ball's life.
I couldn't breathe on my own. They had to give me a breathing tube.
The lawsuit also alleges in the moments after the crash, another unnamed officer tased Ball, who was, quote, pleading for help and on the ground writhing in pain. Cobb PD declined to release any body or dashcam video of the incident to 11Alive Investigates, saying an investigation into the crash is ongoing. The department also declined to answer our questions about Officer Mayuse and whether an internal investigation was ever opened. Records we obtained from the State Peace Officer Standards and Training Council show Mayuse has not faced any disciplinary action, and he has not been charged with any crime. Patrick Dingevan, on the other hand, was indicted on several felony counts of serious injury by vehicle, fleeing, and reckless driving. Officer Mayuse voluntarily resigned from Cobb PD in June and now works for the GBI.
You know, I love you.
Cobb County Police Department declined to comment on the lawsuit. If you have a tip that you want our investigators to check out, all you have to do is call us at 404-873-9111. Again, 404-873-9111, or email us at investigates@11alive.com. Got much more for you coming up right after the break. This is The Take. We're back right after this. Well, it's one of Atlanta's biggest celebration of sustainability. The Southface Institute Visionary Awards, they'll be here next week. But beyond the awards, it's also a chance to spotlight how Southface is helping to shape a cleaner, stronger Georgia for generations to come. Let's look at what's all involved here. Let's welcome in Marcel Henry. He's the Chief Financial Officer for Southface Institute. Marcel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chesley. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Share with us what the Visionary Awards are all about.
Sure. The Visionary Awards is an opportunity for Southface to celebrate those who have done great work in the area of sustainability, building science, and making sure that we have safer, healthier, and more efficiently built communities.
How do you and the Southface team decide who truly embodies that word visionary? What does the selection process look like?
I mean, that's a great question. There are so many, stalwarts of construction and building and sustainability in our community, but we've looked at those who have demonstrated excellence throughout their career and throughout their lifetime, and I think that we found just the right honoree for this year.
Now, I don't know if you can reveal that person or not, or if you're saving it.
I certainly can.
Who is that person?
So this year's honoree for excellence, we're pleased to announce, is going to be Ambassador Andrew Young. No stranger to those of us here in Atlanta. but he has been a champion of sustainability for really all of his career. If you take a look at some of his work in terms of public health, leadership, things of that nature, there's no one who has embodied that more than Ambassador Young. During his time in leading the Olympics, that all had a sustainability focus as well. And even today, he's focused even at this point on creating sustainable farming through Forever Young aquaponics. So we are pleased to be able to honor him this year.
Hey, great choice. Let me just say that. First of all, great choice. How does Southface balance celebrating legacies, figures like Andrew Young, with nurturing the next generation of sustainability leaders?
Yeah, I think that's important. So Southface has actually been in existence since 1978. So we're getting close to our 50 years, but we're looking at what our next 50 years is going to look like for us as well. So we have started Sustain Our Future Foundation, and we have a partnership with HBCUs throughout the United States, including Clark Atlanta and Spelman here, where we are helping to nurture the next generation of sustainability leaders.
So how does the event translate to real dollars and measurable impact for the program right here on the ground?
Yeah, and you see, I'm here as Chief Financial Officer, so I'm always looking for opportunities to, continue our impact. Like many other nonprofit organizations, we've been impacted by reductions in federal support. So we are looking to the foundations and the sustainability community to support us. So the Visionary Awards also serves as a fundraising opportunity to make sure that we can continue some of the good work that we've done. Through our Good Use program, for example, this year alone, we've already awarded 33 grants to other nonprofits so that they can improve their facilities so that they spend less money on operations and can put more into their programs. With the ones that we've put together already, it's resulted in energy reduction costs for those grant recipients of 27%.
All right, so in your mind, what would make this year's Visionary Awards a true success?
To have everyone sign up to be there. It's October 30th at the Georgia Aquarium. You can visit southface.org to learn more about the programs and how we support workforce development and other building sustainable housing throughout Metro Atlanta and the Southeast as a whole. So we really would like to have the support of the community because a sustainable, clean, healthy future benefits all of us.
Talk to me a little bit about Southface Institute and what you guys are working toward. When you talk about sustainability, are you teaching that more so or just making sure buildings are just that, sustainable?
It's actually a combination of both.
Okay.
So we impact through one of our certification programs, the building of sustainable, healthy housing, whether it be individual single family homes that you might find in Decatur or apartment buildings, multifamily buildings that you might see in Midtown Atlanta or developments like Serenbe in South Fulton County. So we have those types of programs where they build housing to a certain standard to make sure that it is all energy efficient. But in addition to that, we provide workforce training. This year alone, we've already trained close to 1,200 people in areas related to HVAC, other energy standards, insulation, and all of those things related to the building trades industry.
Is there a reason why you're going after HBCUs? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's important because if we look at the relationship between communities of need, HBCUs are located in many of these places that need support around sustainability, older homes, weatherization issues. There's a direct connection between communities of need and health disparities. So having clean, healthy living can do things like reduce asthma. So we want to make sure that we have invested in the communities that we serve and that we are creating opportunities for leaders to go into those communities where they have lived, worked, or have gone to school.
Yeah, you got me hooked. You probably got some other folks hooked out there as well. What can they expect when they come to the awards? What will they see?
It is going to be a fun event. In fact, I was on a call just yesterday talking about some of the planning to make it exciting, uplifting. It's an opportunity for those in the industry to connect and people who want to learn more about what Southface does to be able to engage with us. And also to have this opportunity to honor Ambassador Young. I think, we talk about this saying we want to give people their flowers, while they are with us. And this is that opportunity to honor him. And so we really hope that the community will turn out and support us.
Same here. All right, good thing that you're doing there, Marcel Henry. Really appreciate you joining us, and thanks for what you're doing for our community.
Thank you, Chesley.
All right, take care. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. CNN's Maribel Aber is going to join us next with How Your Money Matters. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back to the show. A big label change could be coming to America's go-to for a pain reliever. It's all about the safety, right? Safety comes to mind. CNN's Maribel Aber joins us now from the NASDAQ market site in New York. Hello, Maribel.
Hello, Chesley.
All right, Tylenol is getting new wording from the FDA.
Let's talk about it. Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, is pushing back against proposed changes to the drug safety label that could suggest a link to autism or ADHD in children. The company calls acetaminophen one of the most studied medicines in history and says changing the label would be arbitrary and contrary to law. The current label already advises people who are pregnant or breastfeeding to consult with their doctor before use. The push comes after President Trump recently urged pregnant women not to take the drug. Now, acetaminophen is commonly used during pregnancy since other drugs like ibuprofen or regular dose aspirin can increase the risk of serious complications. Chesley.
Okay. All right. So the battle over the use of AI is now seeing some Hollywood voices speaking up.
Okay, this is what's happening. OpenAI is partnering with Hollywood to better protect against deep fakes on its video creation app called Sora 2. The tech company says it will work with actors unions, talent agencies, and celebrities to prevent unauthorized AI use. Actor Bryan Cranston is among those who raised concerns after clips using his voice and image surfaced on the app last month. Sora 2 was updated earlier this month to give rights holders more control over content generation. OpenAI also committed to responding more quickly to user complaints and pledged support to the No Fakes Act now moving through Congress. One thing is very clear, Chesley. There can only be one Chesley McNeil.
Or one Maribel Aber. Yeah, I was going to say you.
Thank you very much.
That's right. See all them people cheering in the background for you? That's what that's about. All right, I understand that Peacock is teaming up now. Does that mean, with Apple TV, does that mean it's going to be less on our streaming bill?
Well, that's the aim there, right? We want to bundle it together, maybe save some money. Chesley, Apple and Universal are teaming up to offer a new streaming bundle for subscribers. The combined plan includes access to both Apple TV and Peacock for $14.99 a month. A premium ad-free version is available for $19.99 a month. Both companies offer the option to upgrade on their websites. Current customers on each platform will get free previews of the other's channel content for a limited time to promote that partnership. You know, Chesley, it's options. You talked about that earlier. It's all about options. Your comparison shopping with your bundles, though, know what you're duping in other subscriptions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And finally, the Red Cup countdown. You know, it's starting to get cooler down here in the South. And so we think about those Red Cups. Starbucks just dropped the big date, huh?
First day I wore a coat today. Chesley, signs of the holiday season showing up early at Starbucks. The coffee chain just announced its 2025 Red Cup Day will be November 13th. So that's when customers can get a free reusable cup with any holiday drink purchase. The promotion includes seasonal discounts and rewards throughout the holidays. The holiday drinks arrive a week earlier on November 6th with latte flavors like iced sugar cookie, a gingerbread caramel brulee, and eggnog for a limited time. There's also going to be holiday merch featuring Hello Kitty themed drinkware, gift sets, and a plushie toy. I know we're not too much in the coffee, Chesley, but I am ready to get that tree out of storage because we got 65 days, my friend.
Yeah, it just seems like it's right around the corner, and I'm not all the way done yet, but I'm getting there, Maribel. I'm getting there.
Okay.
All right. Maybe a red cup for you and you and you. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. All right, folks.
You got it.
Hey, don't go anywhere, folks. We got two Atlanta staples we're going to talk about and what they're going to look like in the future coming up. Stay with us. All right, we are looking at a mile marker here. Okay, we're talking about a great restaurant that's been around for 80 years. Can you believe that? 80 decades of Southern comfort, countless memories. We're talking about Mary Mac's Tea Room, known as Atlanta's dining room, marking 80 years of serving up fried green tomatoes, peach cobbler, and a whole lot of hospitality. From its humble start in 1945 to becoming a city landmark, this Midtown icon has fed generations, including me, all right? Let's bring in Chad Reynolds. He's the Director of Operations to talk more about the milestone, the memories, and what's next for this Atlanta institution. 80 years. 80 years we're talking about here. Wow. What has made Mary Mac's Tea Room so beloved for all these generations?
Oh man, thank you for that great introduction. I could tell you the word authenticity, I think, is what has kept us here and really serving with our hearts and cooking with our hearts and keeping that tradition from 1945 all the way to celebrating this week, our 80th anniversary. We really take pride in ensuring that we serve that Southern hospitality from our hearts. And I'm here with Tina Leftwich, our general manager, also, who leads the charge every single day here in this beautiful building.
Yeah, tell Tina I said hello. Now talk to us about when people call your restaurant Atlanta's dining room. What does that phrase mean to you and your team?
Oh man, I'll tell you, Atlanta's dining room, being here for 80 years and ensuring that we have not changed one recipe in the restaurant. These recipes are from Mary Mac's back in 1945.
Wow.
And she learned how to cook from the generations before her. And we are talking about the most authentic, legendary Southern recipes that haven't changed in 8 decades. And so when we look at Atlanta's dining room, this building has been here since 1945. And I'll tell you, we take a lot of pride in making sure we keep it authentic and keep this beautiful legacy alive.
Yeah, and it hasn't come without some struggle, right? I know you guys had a scare not long ago as part of the roof collapse. I mean, what has kept you on your feet and keeps you coming back? Yeah.
So, I think just being a staple in this community, the community keeps us going. That's why we do what we do. When we had some damage, we took that as an opportunity to refresh a little bit. Not change up what we're doing, but just get back to our basics and do a little refreshing and then open back up for the community.
All right. How are we marking the 80th anniversary? What specials you got?
So we've been running specials all week. Yesterday we had some peach cobbler for everybody. We'll continue this week with some T-shirts. We have our 80th edition cookbook for sale. So we just have some different things we're going to be doing every day.
You guys have, when you walk in there, you see all these pictures on the wall. You guys have had everybody come in there, from this person to that person. What's some of those icons that you've had?
So we've had Dalai Lama, we've had Richard Gere. Here recently, we've had Will Ferrell. We've had John Lewis. We had Joe Biden. So we have all walks of celebrities, politicians, to grandmas down the street coming in.
Has anybody ever shocked you coming in?
No, not really. It's something different every day, so you're just prepared for it. We welcome everybody in and treat them just like we do everybody else. I think that's what keeps them coming back in. Yeah.
If this was a first-timers coming in, what should they expect, and how do you treat those first-timers to keep them coming back?
Yeah, so if it's your first time in, please let us know. We do give a little taste of pot liquor for all of our first-time guests, and we do offer history to all of our guests. So our servers are well versed with our history, and a lot of people just want to know where they're eating, and we are full of history, and we love to share it.
I didn't get the pot liquor my first time in, maybe because I didn't tell them I was a first-time guest. I guess you got to say that to get the pot liquor, right?
We can cheat and get you in next time. We got you, man.
I got you. 80 years. 80 years is very rare. Very rare. You don't see that any longer. What are you guys going to be doing in the future to make sure you last another 80?
Well, I'll take this one. In the future, we are going to do exactly what we've been doing, and that's staying true to our heart and soul of what was been created here for the last 8 decades, and we take a lot of pride in ensuring that we are very authentic in this legacy and this beautiful building full of tons of memories and tons of history. So we're going to continue to master what has been created here for the last 80 years.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you both. Congratulations to the tea room. Keep it up. I love the food there. I'll be back. I'll be back for my potluck.
Come and see us.
All right. Take care. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks
We
for having
appreciate
us.
it. Thank you very much, guys.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. All right. Another look at your forecast plus my final take when we return. Every fall, we just can't wait for those leaves to start changing color. You know, we stop and look at them and we marvel at it. But have you ever wondered why the leaves put on such a show? Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb explains in today's Weather Extra.
Ever wonder why trees go from green to gorgeous every fall? Let's break it down fast. Leaves have pigments like chlorophyll for green, carotenoids for yellow and orange, and anthocyanins for red and purple. And as the nights get longer, trees stop making that chlorophyll, and the green fades, and the hidden colors come out. Sunny days and cool nights trap sugars in the leaves. That's what boosts the bright reds and purples. Each tree paints a different picture. Maples go red, aspens turn gold, and oaks show off the russet tones. Timing depends on the species and where they grow. Even altitude makes a difference. So every fall is a unique masterpiece made by science, sunlight, and just the right amount of chill.
Look at that. Now you know, Paulie. Now you know. 78 degrees for the high temperature today. It's going to be a warm one out there this afternoon after a very cool start. We started out with temperatures in some of the outlying areas down into the 30s. Can you believe that? Up in the North Georgia mountains, 35 degree start there in Blairsville. 78 degrees will be our afternoon high. Now what you'll also notice this afternoon is a few clouds rolling back into the forecast area thanks to a cold front that's going to come through and bring us a very small threat for some rain. We'll give it a 20 to 30% chance. Sunshine breaks back out again on Wednesday. We're talking Wednesday through Friday, mostly sunny skies, a little bit cooler behind the front though. So we go from 78 today down to near 70 for the high on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday back into the low to mid 70s, pretty nice, but again, some very cold starts. Temperatures even here in the metro will be down into the 40s. And then over the weekend, you notice that temperature goes back down again. We should be around 73 degrees this time of year. We'll hit it on Saturday and then around 70 degrees on Sunday. We'll see the clouds increasing once again and then a chance for some rain coming back to us late Sunday going into Monday. Monday is going to start off wet. Of course, we'll have some showers around during the morning into early afternoon. Then we'll begin to dry it out. But that high temperature will only be around 68 degrees. Oh boy. Yep, so some cooler air coming our way as well. Have to enjoy the sunshine while you can. All right, before we go, my final take. ChatGPT is growing in popularity. Do you use it? Even when it comes to the lottery. Yep, that's how this young woman from Michigan took home $100,000 lottery prize. Tammy Carvey purchased her Powerball ticket in Michigan at on the website and used artificial intelligence software to tell her what number she should pick. And guess what? She hit. To her surprise, of course, the website told her it was for $50,000, but she logged in to her account and forgot she added a power play and won $100,000. Tammy's not the first person to hit the lottery using ChatGPT. A woman from Virginia used it, hitting $150,000 using AI. No doubt more people will consider using that platform, but the lottery officials say, hey, as a warning here, the result of the drawing is purely random and there's no predictor out there. AI or any number generating tool is not going to do it for you, folks. But guess what? It's not going to stop us from doing it. In fact, I may do it this afternoon. Good luck to you, folks, and make it a great day. Hope you win. Share some of those winnings as well. Have a great day.